Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Jordan from PictureMonk.com, and welcome to episode 51 of the PictureMonk podcast. Going to do a little house cleaning, normally like I do at the beginning of these. I feel like I always got something really important to tell you guys. So for this one, if you're listening on the regular podcast from either iTunes, Stitcher, anything like that, if you're listening to this as a podcast, nothing's going to change for you guys. However, if you're trying to watch the video, you'll notice that it's just audio. The reason for this, and it feels like I'm having to do something like this lately a lot, and that is because the camera I normally use to record these podcasts in the video form, I got it all set up, I got it ready to go, and as soon as I turned it on, I got an error message on the screen that says camera cannot communicate with battery. And so, I've never seen that message before. So I tried another battery, and I got the same message. I looked on Canon's site real quick and tried to figure out a way to do it. I Googled the error and all this kind of stuff, and I needed to pull the trigger on the podcast because I was already recording this a little late. So I record these on Saturdays. That way, it gives me enough time to edit these and get them going. So I was already late on Saturday, and so I had to. I just didn't have to worry about the video, so I needed to get the audio at least, so you guys can at least listen to this, which is honestly a way a lot of people listen to it. They listen to the audio. Some few people care about it to go watch the whole thing on YouTube, but audio is way more convenient for people, so that's the kind of bread and butter. So that was the issue there. I what I'm going to have to do is just call Canon possibly, and see what's going on there. Maybe even get another battery. I don't know. I'm just going to have to test it out. So that's what's going on with that, and that also kind of inhibits a couple other projects that I was going to shoot this coming up week as far as videos for the YouTube channel. I was going to do a kind of a product shoot, kind of a walkthrough on a product shoot, but I'm going to have to push that back just a little bit to figure this issue out. So for this episode, what I was talking about last week, where I said I was probably going to have a very large Q&A session, and that's mostly correct. I pulled a couple. I pulled about six images. Wow, I'm really tired right now. I pulled about 6 questions from some of the emails, and I'm going to have a few more next week. So there is going to be two episodes in a row that are user questions, just to kind of run through some of these. So let's go ahead and get to the news article real fast because I want to get to some of these questions. And also, on a personal note, I'm recording this on a Saturday, and if some of you don't know, I'm a very, very big fan of the UFC, and so I'm hoping I'm not scatterbrained enough to where I'm paying attention more to one thing than the other, and because I have the UFC 196 fights going on one screen, and I'm recording this podcast on the other screen, so I'm going to try not to pay attention to that while I'm recording this. So that's just a personal note there. But the news article for this week is there's a company called Lee's Filters, and I found this on Petapixel, and I thought this was kind of cool. It's a little basically what it is the company Lee's Filters made a new neutral density filter, and it's called the Super Stopper. And a neutral density filter basically is just a dark piece of glass that you throw in front of your lens, and it cuts down on the light. The overall light and that's coming into your camera, so you can, if you want to, get very long shutter speeds in bright situations. And so they have a filter called the Super Stopper, and it reduces the light in your camera by 15 stops. So the example they gave was so in a ordinary 2-second exposure. So if you set your camera on a tripod and your light meter evaluates the scene and everything like that, and it says that to get a proper exposure, you're going to have 2 seconds of exposure time. That basically takes that natural 2 seconds exposure to 15 hours. I mean, you can go to 15 hours to get a neutral exposure, which is very weird. I don't even know if a lot of cameras could handle a 17-hour exposure time because, number one, you got to have your camera sitting still for 17 hours. Plus, the sensor will just get super, super hot. So I don't know how that will handle it. But that's an example of what it can do. And so I'm going to touch on this just a tad bit later in the podcast. But I thought that was very interesting, and the filter they have a couple example photos, and they're pretty cool. And so again, I'm going to touch a little bit on this for the widget of the week. That's at the end of the episode. But I just thought that was really cool. So if you want to read up a little bit more about that, I think the price of it. Let me just go back and check out the article again because I think it was $175 for that filter. So, I think that's what it was. So, that's a lot of money for a piece of glass, basically. So, again, we'll talk about that just in a little bit. But if you want to see what I'm talking about there, you can go to PictureMonk.com/PMP051, and you'll be able to check on it there. All right, so normally I have a listener question of the week that follows the news, but since this is a massive, quote unquote, massive user question thing, I'm just gonna roll right into that. So let me pull up my notes here, and all right. So the first question we have is from a Jackie G, who is from Houston, Texas. And she, or he, I'm assuming she, says, what are your thoughts on photo contests? Are they worth entering, and would you pay money to enter them? Short and sweet for that one is photo contests are fun. If there's certain websites out there that run photo contests, and the prizes are sponsored by a legit company, and if you win the contest, then you get the prize. And so that's perfectly cool, and they're free to enter. For paying, I would definitely not pay to enter a photo contest. That is, I feel it's weird to pay someone to enter a photo contest, and I just would steer away from that because some of those, unfortunately, are scams, and you don't know which ones. So I would definitely not pay to be in a photo contest. So that answered your question, Jackie. Try to read your reviews on photo contest sites. Maybe if you're entering a local one, like a newspaper photo contest or a local magazine or something like that, that's pretty legit. That's a normal thing. But if you got like JoeBob'sPhotoContest.com and he offers you like $1 million. But you just have to pay him $100. Obviously don't do that. That's stupid. So thanks, Jackie, for the question, and let's roll into the next one. All right, and the next question is from a Wes Cummings. No location for where that person's from, but you know where you live. So let's see. How do you price your photography? I am wanting to sell and license my car photography, and I'm not sure what to charge. So the reason I pulled this question is because I just wanted to share real quick that I sell. I have photos for sale. But there's a friend of mine who owns a cafe in the area, and I have, I think, three, if I remember correctly, three of my photos that two of them he chose and one of them I chose, that are hanging up in his cafe. And over the past week, I think it was on Tuesday, Monday, one of those, I sold a photo there, and so I kind of wanted to touch on that real quick. I sold a photo, and basically I charged double the print, so double whatever it charged me to make the print, or actually what it charged me to print and frame it. So double that charge plus covering the 20% that the owner of the cafe takes. So roughly that came out to about I want to say it was $105, something like that. It came out to about there because I got the frame at a discount frame place that I used to do an internship for, and they make really good frames, but they just make a lot of them. So they have a discount frame place, and I went there and got a nice frame, and I think it was like $3, and they got the print made and hung it up. So that was really about it, and so covered my cost on that, and so yeah, that's kind of how I do for that one. There are a few prints that are better than others, in my opinion, so I'm going to charge more for that. So the one that I'm going to replace it with when I order that one to hang in place of the one that sold, it is going to be a little bit more expensive, but not like $6,000 or anything. It's going to be a little bit more expensive because I think it's a better print. So yeah, that's kind of how I price it. Basically, you just need to determine what you think it's worth. And for licensing, that's a whole different beast. Licensing I think I'm not qualified to do licensing fees because I've never done that before. So I think you kind of need to do your research on that. Maybe contact a photographer in your area who has licensed stuff, and see how they work it out. That kind of thing. I don't know much about the licensing part, but also you kind of got to figure out what your demographic is. I'm not going to charge $400 for a print that's hanging in a small cafe. That's just that's not a thing. That's kind of a dumb thing to do because you'll never sell it. So yeah. That's something that I would look into, but I'm sorry I can't really answer your question on the licensing part. So thank you, Wes, for that. All right, so the next question is from a Dean22092. Hope that's a zip code or something. All right, so weird username there. So his question is simple. Says, what photographer do you look up to? I made a video, something similar to who I look up to, that I will post at PictureMonk.com/PMP051, and you can see the YouTube video there. It's basically like an inspiration thing, but that's kind of what you kind of get when you look up to somebody. Is they inspire you to do better, to do different things with your style and your craft and everything like that. So just a real quick synopsis of that video is Peter Lick is a guy who's super famous. A lot of people know him because of a show he had on the Weather Channel about photography, also selling a $6 million photo. I think his photography is good. Obviously it's better than mine, but I think it's good, but his marketing and his exposure and all that kind of stuff, how he gets his name out there, that's what impresses me a lot. So, it's all about the networking, I think, with him, and so that's what I'm impressed by his stuff. Another photographer is Mike Kelly, and he is an architectural photographer. Mainly known for his architecture and real estate. He does a couple small projects. There was one photo that he did called Wake Turbulence, and that's where he recorded, or he photographed, a time lapse of planes taking off at, I think it's LAX, the airport in Los Angeles, and photoshopped, kind of combined all of those into one photo, so it looks like it kind of looks like 50 planes are taking off at once. And he was upfront, obviously, about how he got the image, so it's not like he was saying all 50 planes were taking off at once, because that's a little bit ridiculous. But his architectural stuff is awesome, and so I think obviously landscapes are fun to do, and they can be profitable, I guess. But when I step into like a really cool like a room, like if you go into like a cool bank that has a nice lobby, or stuff like that, like I want to photograph that. Even sometimes I'll whip out my phone and just try to get like cool compositions if I have the time. And so I don't know. I think that's a really cool thing. And there's another photographer. Oh my gosh, I just forgot his name as I was thinking about it. He's an Instagram photographer. It's Christopher Barrett. Christopher Barrett Photo. That's the Christopher Barrett's his name, but his username on Instagram is C Barrett Photo. So it's CBARRETT Photo. And he does architectural stuff too. He's got a couple. Just looking through his feed real quick, he's got a couple. Buildings, exterior architectural stuff, cool behind the scenes stuff. So I really look up to his photography work. So if you want to check out more about him, his website is actually christopherbarrett.net. And you can check him out there, or go to Instagram and type in C Barrett Photo and check him out there. So really cool, really awesome images. Really jealous of those. So yeah, those are a couple that I do look up to. So thank you, Dean, for the question. And for the next one, we have from a Julie Yates. No location on that one. And she says, do you have any camera bags that you recommend? I have bought my first camera and a few lenses, so I need a quality bag to tote around. Man, I know some people are really big on bags, on photo bags. I'm just not one of those people. The bag that I have is what I would consider a entry level camera bag, just a regular old backpack. Is the Canon one. It's probably the one that like 98% of the people out there when they first get started have. Just a black bag with a green front. And so it's fairly simple. A lot of people go for like the think tank bags and all that kind of stuff. I just don't get into that. As long as my bag stays together, I'll probably continue using it. Obviously if I get more stuff that I need to carry, I can make it work with my bag. And if not, I'll just carry another bag. I'll just get another small bag. So I don't have any that I recommend, but just because I'm not a big bag person. I do like the which one is it? It is the Think Tank brand, but I can't remember the model of it. But it's one of the ones that's the single shoulder strap, and it has like a side pocket that you can pull your camera out of without setting your bag on the ground. I do like that. So yeah, sorry, Julie. I feel like I'm not answering anybody's question this week, but I don't really like purchasing bags. I'd rather save up and purchase something else. So if I was going to recommend something, I'd just say get a nice bag that fits your stuff, or a cheaper bag that fits your stuff. As long as it stays, all your stuff stays together in there, and you can configure it the way you want to, then you're golden pretty much. So thank you, Julie. And let's see, we have another one from Lane Waterside from the Netherlands. Wow, haven't had a question from the Netherlands yet. Let's see. We got, are there any easy ways to start selling my photography? I mainly shoot landscapes and wildlife, but I have never sold any prints. Lane, if you're shooting landscapes and wildlife, very cool. Selling your stuff is all about getting your name out there. I've sold a couple of my stuff, and that's been over many years. But I don't promote my stuff like I should. So there's other people out there that throw photos out there every day on Facebook and social media, other social media stuff. They network with people. They have friends that can tell other people and all this kind of stuff. I just don't market my stuff like I should. Like I was saying before, with whose question was it? Wes's question, where I have my stuff setting in a cafe. It took me a long time to number one ask to go up there, because I didn't want to step on my friend's toes about putting my stuff in there. And then so probably since I've had it up there, it's been about a year maybe, and I just sold the first one out of his place. So selling your stuff is a whole different beast. Rarely will you ever find somebody who will go on your website and buy directly from your website when it's landscape and stuff like that. Portrait stuff, that's an easy thing because you know the people, you've communicated with them, you network with those people, and they want their photos. So they're obviously going to buy from you that way. But landscapes and wildlife, it's a whole different beast because it falls into basically the art category. And there are some people that feel that they should, pay for art. There's some people that feel like art is not worth paying for, especially when it's someone who whips out a camera and clicks a button and then they're done, which every photographer knows, or everybody that's interested in photos knows that it's just more than that. So I will say that a photo that I sold, it was actually the same photo that sold this week. It sold probably about another year ago. I sold out of the blue because a lady from New York visited friends in South Carolina, and she went to see the angel oak tree in South Carolina, and I guess she was doing research on it and came across my photo, and she thought it was a very cool photo, and it communicated a trip with her friends to that place and how much she loved that place. So that's why she purchased it from me, because it evoked emotion for her. So that's something, if you're really trying to sell stuff, then sell stuff like that. Hit sort of landmarks. Hit all kinds of places that people frequent, and it's possible that you can sell it that way. But just make it stand out. So that's kind of a long-winded answer to your question. Oh man. I did glance over and start watching a little bit of the UFC fight, so sorry about that. So the last one here I'm going to go with is I'm thinking about. The question is, I'm not thinking about something, but the question is from Harold 2.0, which is a very cool username. I'd like to see what 1.0 looked like, if it was any better or worse. But Harold 2.0 said, I'm thinking about getting a Mac as a new computer. I have a PC now, but I want your thoughts on the best computer for editing photos and video. Let's see. What's a really good way to put this? I have Macs and have had them for probably 5-6 years, somewhere around there. It's probably close to that. Before then, I was a PC person because that's all I knew. Ever since I've gotten a Mac, I love it. Not because it's a Mac, but I love the way that things are laid out. I love the styling of it. I'm big into the styling of it, the minimalism of how their machines physically look, how their products look in general. So if PC manufacturers or third-party manufacturers basically would make stuff that looks that aesthetically pleasing, I could possibly go for that. But just the way Macs run and all this kind of stuff, that's what I'm into. As far as editing photos and video, that being said, I would probably still, unless you're wanting to spend a whole lot of money, I would probably still stick to PC. And the reason I say that is because my Mac has held up for a while. I have a MacBook and an iMac that were basically bought around the same time. And the iMac is getting close to not being able to handle certain things like Photoshop. I can mainly do what I want to in Photoshop with the Mac that I currently have. However, if I do have a lot of things open, it's going to be very slow. It is obviously very slow opening. If I'm handling larger files, like if I make a panorama and it's a raw panorama, it's going to be very slow there too. Video is almost impossible if you're using like Premiere to edit video, or any program like that where it has to render, and well, even iMovie. A lot of my videos are thrown together quickly in iMovie just because it's easy and it saves time. So even iMovie, I have to let it sit and import a whole bunch of stuff real quick and let it render the files. And sometimes when you're doing stuff that requires timing, adding transitions into a spot at a certain spot compared to music and all this kind of stuff, I could miss that because when I play it back, it's super choppy, and then I have to render it to see it at the full, or render and export. I have to do it that way and see how it looks, and determine if I need to go back and fix a couple little things and render it back out again. With it, like let's say you have $1,700 to spend on a new iMac. $1,700 will get you a very fast PC, from any one of the manufacturers. It'll get you a very fast machine that can handle a lot of video stuff, a lot of photo editing. Even though, that being said, I'm probably not ever going to get a PC just because I don't like it. I think it's clunky. Other than editing, being able to edit photos and stuff like that, I think it's clunky and I don't like it. So, my opinion, I would still stick to Mac, and kind of, if you're just wanting to edit stuff, then I would go to a PC. But I personally would stick to Mac. So that's my recommendation because you asked my opinion on it. So I would stick with the Apple line of PCs and stuff like that. So there you go. That's it. So I totally expect fanboys of both Mac and Windows or Apple and Windows to start butting heads right about now. So send in those hate mails. So that's all the questions I got for this week. So again, just to wrap up, thank you, Jackie from Houston, Wes, Dean 22092, Julie, and Lane Waterside from the Netherlands, and Harold 2.0. Thank you guys for your questions, and I'm going to have more next week. So if you didn't see your question here, most likely, if it was a good one, I'm going to feature it next week, and you can check those out there. So for the widget of the week, like I was saying before, the widget of the week is a kind of a copycat. And I think I talked about this before, but I'm going to throw it back in there again because it's extremely helpful. It's a copycat of the leaf filter. So the super stopper that they have, it's a copycat of that. And what it is what's called welder's glass. Welder's glass is exactly what it sounds like. When somebody's welding, it's the glass plate that goes in front of in front of the welder's mask, so that when they are welding and the sparks or the welding part of it, I'm not a mechanic whatsoever, so I have no idea what I'm talking about. But it's super, super bright. That glass cuts down on that so it doesn't blind the person. Basic gist. There's probably more to it than that, but that's all I got. And so what I am replacing that with is with the leaf filters. What I'm replacing that with is the welder's glass, and the welder's glass basically does the same thing. There's just one minor hiccup with it, but it's easy to correct. And so what it is just a big thick piece of glass. It's dark. Once you put it in front of your lens, you can't see crap, and so you're gonna have a hard time focusing and all that kind of stuff. But I have videos that I will put at PictureMonk.com/PMP0. 051. You can check those videos out. It shows you how to take the welder's glass and put it in front of your lens and take a photo. That's part one, and shows you kind of how easy that is. And then you take that photo. Part two is showing you how to edit that photo and how to take out the green tint, because normally those heat treated glasses like that, they have a green tint that comes with them, and so your photo will turn green pretty much. And so you can do two things. You can change the white balance, configure the white balance a little bit in post, and you can take out the green, or you can just turn it black and white and just be done with it that way. But what that'll do is it won't give you probably as much as the 15 stops of light cutting in, but it'll give you a pretty good amount. So, if you want to go to, again, PictureMonk.com/PMP051, trying to see how many times I can say that during this podcast, you can see the link to the Cellstrom, I guess that's the brand, 16312 glass heat-treated pressure preserve welding filter plate. Basically, you'll see what I bought. You'll get the exact one that I have, that I use in the tutorial, and you can try it for yourself there. So the reason I mentioned the price for the other one, it was $130 or $175, I think it was $175. So this one is the glass that I got. I'm just going to check it one more time just in case. I'll give you the price of this one. This one turns out to be a whopping $3.82 in US. So you could get something for $175 or you could get something for $3.82. So one thing I'm going to start doing when you go to the podcast show notes is I'm going to put a link to the UK, I guess it's UK, the UK Amazon, the Canadian Amazon, and the US Amazon, just so there's no mix-up in where people get sent, because I've heard that some people from the UK, if they click on the link, that it takes them to a different part, and it's not really the thing that I recommended. So I'm going to fix that by giving 3 links, and that's mainly where a lot of the listeners come from. That's why I'm doing it for those 3 regions. So yeah. That's what I got there. So check out that link, and you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Honestly, even if you don't want to do a lot of long exposure photography using welder's glass, for $3, you can. That's a throwaway. I mean, like, if you get it and you hate it, that just throw the thing in the trash. So yeah, check that out there. Again, go to PictureMonk.com. This is the last time I'm saying it. PictureMonk.com/PMP051 for everything I talked about. And so yeah, I'm gonna get to watching the UFC before I pass out. And thanks guys for listening. Thanks for rating. Thanks for watching the videos on YouTube. Thanks for reading some articles on the website. Just thank you for being there. It's fun to do this, and it's fun to hear people are actually getting some entertainment and enjoyment out of it, and learning something new, and listen to me ramble and say a lot. So, so thanks for listening, and I will talk to you guys next week.